Hi, Shannon here again from houseimprovements.com. Today we're going to give this short video to you to show you how to do some basic wall framing. So today we're going to show you framing interior walls in this basement. Basically the first thing you need to do is figure out your alignment of your walls as far as where they're going in relationship to the existing concrete walls. Mark yourself some lines on the floor and on the ceiling to run to, because you need to apply your plates first. You could build your wall down on the ground, stand it up into place. In this case our floor is a little out of whack, so every stud's a little different, so we decided just to stick frame it individually. So in that case I've already pre-attached a wall plate to the floor, and you can see here we've got our moisture barrier already on the concrete coming out across the floor, and our bottom plate of the wall is on top of that moisture barrier. You don't want your plate sitting right on concrete. Then we have drilled some anchors into the floor about every 4 feet right through the bottom plate into the concrete, and they're a hammer and anchor. Simply drill them in with a hammer drill, hammer those anchors in, and it's stuck there. Then for up top, we've transferred with a level and a straight edge. We've transferred that mark that we had on the floor up to the top. In this case we had to put in some blocking because there was nothing to nail to, but once we had that in, we could mark our line of the wall up there and applied our top plate right here to the ceiling area. Okay, once that's done, we went and marked out 2 foot on center. In this case you're usually going to mark either 16 inches on center for your stud spacing or 24 inches. In this case we're going 24 inches. So I marked all those out along the length of the wall. I then, again with the straight edge and hand level, transferred those marks off the bottom plate up to the top plate. You could also use a plumb bob, you could use any of these leveling lasers that they have now. Any of that works as long as you get a plumb line going up for your studs to be straight. Then what I did is at each stud space I measured between the plates to see what my stud length was going to be. I've pre-cut all my studs. I've also, in this case, nailed 2 in just to show you here before we get rolling. And I've toe-nailed them in, which means nailing in on an angle from the side. I'm using a gas-powered pass-load framing nailer. Very quick and easy. You could also use screws and a drill. This is just so much more easy. If you can rent this, it's well worth it renting it for a day or two to speed up the process. But basically toe-nailing, all that means is I've had to insert a nail with this gun on an angle through the stud, and then it angles up into the plate or angles down into the bottom plate. So studs are attached. The other thing you want to look at always is the crown on your studs. So you want to look that if they've got a crown or a curve this way, you want to have all the studs facing the same way. Whether that crown is facing in or out really doesn't matter as long as they aren't all mixed up. You want to keep them all the same way. So on my studs, I always put a little arrow indicating which way my crown is. So this piece here is curved, and I'm exaggerating, but it's curved like this. And then I always just make sure I've got my arrows facing the same way all the time, either out or in. Okay, so we've got these 2 tacked in. I'm going to move down the wall a little further, tack in a couple more, and you can see just how easy it really is. The other thing when you're measuring your studs, you want them just a little snug, so they need a little friction to get them in there. They'll stand in there easier to allow you to toe-nail it without it falling out every second. So again, I'm looking for my arrow. In my case, I'm facing them into the building. I'm lining it up with my marks that I measured out already on my plates. You can see I've got just a little friction there, so it'll stand in on its own. I'm going to go down here. I want it flush from the wall plate to the front edge of the stud, and I want to be on my line that I had marked here. I'm going to toe-nail. 2 on one side and a 3rd one on the other. Just like that. Then I move up. Same thing, get my stud in line with my plate flush, in line with my pencil line that I marked. Toe-nail in 2, come to the other side. put in a third one. Okay, so really easy. As you see, this gun really makes it simple. If you're not comfortable with the gun, you're more comfortable with the screw, like with the drill and a screw, by all means use that. You may want to put 4 screws in instead if you're going to use screws, because their shear strength isn't as good. So I'm going to just continue along here, nailing in these next few, and that's really all there is to it. So as you just seen, really not super difficult. You need a little bit of skills as far as cutting the studs, marking out your stud spacing, but really fairly novice job. With a little bit of help, you can certainly do this job on your own, I think. So we've got this wall all studded up. It's ready. Basically, we're at the point of we can do the electrical and the insulating and then the vapor barrier. So anyways, we've got that all done. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can see this one and many others on our YouTube channel, or you can go to our website at houseimprovements.com, and there's also links and other articles there.